You know that feeling of being trapped? Not by actual walls, but by your own thoughts? Well, we're about to dive into this really powerful idea called paradise is a state of mind. It suggests that the key to our freedom is, believe it or not, already in our hands. So let's unpack what that really means. Right out of the gate, this whole idea kicks off with this incredibly powerful line. There's no warm-up, it just gets straight to the point. We are being held prisoner by something called attachments. So what in the world is this invisible prison they're talking about?
And yeah, that's the million-dollar question we're tackling here. This isn't about physical bars or cells. It's about a prison we apparently build for ourselves, brick by brick, inside our own heads. So let's start by figuring out what we're even using to build those walls.
Okay, so if we're stuck in a prison of our own making, what are the bars actually made of? Let's take a closer look at how we, maybe without even realizing it, manage to trap ourselves.
It turns out, these attachments aren't things you can hold at all. Nope, they're the stories we tell ourselves over and over. You know, those limiting beliefs we just can't seem to shake. And it's also that harsh inner critic, what the text calls the inner violence we preach. Oof.
So when you actually lay it all out, you can start to see the blueprint of this prison. It's built from our attachments, right? It's reinforced by that self-criticism, that inner violence, and the whole thing is held together by the stories we just refuse to let go of. These are the very things that keep us confined.
And right here, you can really see the two sides of the coin. On one side, you've got the stories that trap us and cause all this inner turmoil. But on the other, you have the path to freedom. It's a direct trade-off. When we finally decide to let go, that's where we find our way out.
Okay, so if we're living inside this mental prison, how does that actually play out in the real world? This brings us to a really fascinating idea. The concept that our outer world is just a mirror, reflecting our inner state right back at us.
The core idea here is, honestly, simple but so profound. What you see and experience out there isn't random. It's a direct reflection of what's happening inside of you. It's like an echo of what's going on in your own head. And what's really amazing is how deep this goes. The world doesn't just reflect our big, loud emotions. It reflects the quiet conversations of our mind. That means the quality of our inner dialogue, whether it's peaceful or totally chaotic, is literally projected onto the reality we experience every single day.
In this is where it gets personal. Just take a second and think about it. If your world really is a mirror, what is it showing you right now? What does that say about your own inner conversations? It's a really powerful thought to sit with.
All right, so we figured out what the prison is, and we see how it's mirrored in our reality. So the next logical question is, how do we get out? Let's talk about finding the key to unlock this cage. And here's the absolute game changer. We are not passive victims just waiting around to be rescued. This philosophy says that freedom is something we actively create. You don't just find it, you build it through your own conscious choices and actions. And the process for creating that freedom is laid out as a pretty simple two-step formula. First, you have to let go of the old story that's holding you prisoner. That's step one. Releasing it creates a space. And it's in that new open space that you can then make the second move, to consciously choose kindness. One makes the other possible. This line just cuts right to the heart of it all. At the end of the day, our entire experience of life might just boil down to our attitude. When we let go of those old, tired stories and choose a kinder perspective, we're not just changing our mood for a second. We are fundamentally changing our life. So, we've talked about the prison, and we've talked about the key. That really only leaves one final question. What's the destination? If we use that key and walk out of the cage, where do we actually end up? And here it is, the ultimate takeaway. Paradise isn't some tropical island. It's not a place you travel to. It is an internal state. A state of mind that is built from the peace and freedom we create for ourselves the moment we choose to let go of our attachments. And I just love this final way of looking at it. It's not some static place you finally arrive at, and then that's it. It's a dynamic, joyful space you actually get to play in. It suggests fun, creativity, and a lightness that is the complete opposite of that heavy, violent prison we started with.
So really, this entire idea comes down to a single moment of choice. The choice to let go of a story, the choice to be kind, the choice to step into a different state of mind. So maybe the real question isn't where is paradise, but what kind of paradise are you going to choose to create for yourself today?